In that clip, we heard your character Moira. She was making enchiladas with her son.
Enchiladas.
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 A lot of my French is not what it used to be. A lot of the laughs on the show come from your character's kind of awkward interactions with her children. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that works so well on the show?
Well, I think we're awkward because we led very separate lives. Our money allowed us to live very separate lives. Mm-hmm. And now we're suddenly living really close together, all four of us in the Rose family. And it's just really sad and awkward. And I love sad funny.
Yeah,
I love sad, awkward funny. And it feels real to me when we're in those scenes. And that's why I love it. I don't know why anybody else likes it.
But it's funny. Like, you're seeing a lot of people from small towns in Canada, which I'm sure you've been to a million of them, you know?
Yeah.
People who aren't of great affluence, you know?
Right.
Watching this and getting the same kind of kick out of it. It's kind of different than the Beverly Hillbillies kind of fish out of water thing.
Right, or Green Acres.
Yeah, it is kind of a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Don't you think? What do you think it is that appeals to the general public so much about these rich people in backwater Canada?
Well, hopefully they're laughing.
Yeah.
And that appeals to people.
Yeah.
I like seeing comedy.
Yeah.
And we like to think that our characters are real. Mm-hmm. I loved reading bad reviews by commenters on IMDb saying that we were complaining too much in the first show. I think, what? You call someone a mother because you cracked your phone or because, the things we get mad about that didn't go the way we expected them to go in the moment. But it's wrong of us to be upset when we have our lives ripped out from under us. And that's what's happened to us. And I love that the reality is there every show. Most scenes, there'll be some reference to our lives before this. We're not forgetting that, and we want to get back there. And I think that's the kind of pathetic part of the comedy that I like. And in these new shows, I just saw them this week.
Yeah.
My husband watched them with me. They sent me links to the shows. And
do you like watching yourself? Are you?
I like watching the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many scenes, with Daniel and Annie that I'm not involved in, or scenes with great scenes between Daniel and Eugene that are just Johnny's. Eugene's character Johnny just really is hanging on to his dignity by a thread in the second season. Oh, it's so sad. But
go on,
sorry, my husband just said that he just feels so much more. He empathizes so much more with the Rose family. I guess the first season, especially at the very beginning, you're just like, who are they, and who cares if they had money? Maybe some people feel that way. I didn't, but it's hard not to feel for them after a while because they don't know what they're doing in this town. And you get to know the people in the town more in this season too because we actually leave the motel a bit more often.
There's an empathy in the show that is missing from, again, like Green Acres and the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
There's an empathy to those characters. But I will say this, your character, not exactly a nurturing parent, and I know you've spoken in the past, and you come from a very close-knit kind of nurturing family. So how do you channel an unfit mother to play this character?
I've played a lot of unfit mothers, and I think
You're being typecast.
Well, no, I'm hoping that if I play it, then in reality I won't do it.
Oh, is that so?
Maybe.
Trying to get it
Maybe
out.
I get it out of my system.
Yeah.
Okay. But
all the stuff you want to do. Yeah.
I think any time I've played anything that I like to think was not me, or not as wonderful a person as I like to think I am, all I have to draw on is the days, all my off days in my life, where I'm not at my best. And
what do you
even
mean?
if you any day that I've been an ass, or I've yelled at my son or one of my sons, or I've been terrible in moments when I was frustrated. You get tired, and your son throws you a curveball that I don't usually use baseball references, but your son comes out with something that you just, what? And instead of being calm and cool like you may be when you're awake, or not stressed out, I don't know, you just say an awful thing and then quickly, I'm sorry, okay, I was wrong to say I'm sorry. And I've hoped all through my parenting that the apology makes a difference after the bad behavior. But if I draw on any of those moments that, thank God, didn't go far in real life, but there's a kernel there of, frustration, anger, whatever, it's easy to draw on. And I love playing, I don't know why, I love playing parents who have no right to be parents. You know,
Parents who leave their children at home when they go on vacation.
well, that was just a mistake.
Twice.
No,
Yeah.
they were good. I know. I told this before, but I met a child after the second one at a mall, and he was very upset with me. And are you the woman who left your child at home? And I said, in a movie, yes. You did it twice. In a sequel, yes. I got paid. It was a movie. But he wouldn't have any of that. And he said, isn't that called abandonment? This kid was like 8 or 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I said, please, get somebody to tell you about movies and stories and scripts.
That kid grew up to be a lawyer.
There you go,
He's
smart.
He's been
Very
fighting
smart.
against that ever since.
Yes, I've been telling that story since he affected me, that little weasel.
If you're listening to this right now, by the way, child who accosted Catherine O'Hara at a
smart
mall.
ass.
Yeah, call in.
Punk.
We'll deal with you. You mentioned you've played mothers before. What I found really interesting is that you played the mother in Home Alone, which is, I think I saw 7 times over Christmas.
You are that age, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Six times intentionally, and then one time it just kind of was
By
on.
mistake.
I know it just always is on. It's become this important. Yeah, I got held down.
I know, Clockwork Orange kind of deal.
You, if I'm not mistaken, you played the mother in Home Alone before you had children of your own. Is that true?
Yes.
So
Yes, I had a lot of trouble with the scene before in Home Alone, the first one, Home Alone. And I'm sending Kevin Macaulay up to the attic to sleep with his cousin who wets the bed.
Yep.
And because he's misbehaved, and I'm sending it up, and I'm supposed to say, and I did say, he says, "Oh, I wish it all disappear. I wish it all go away. I'd like to live alone," or something horrible that kids are allowed to say. And I say, you know, don't say things like that. You'd feel awfully bad if you woke up and your family was gone. And I was not a mother at the time, so I didn't know the horrible things that parents could say, as I was trying to explain earlier. And I was arguing with poor Chris Columbus, saying, "No, I can't. No." And he's trying to explain to me, "That's the movie. If you don't say that, where are we going with this?"
So what changed then? After you have children of your own and you continue to do these kind of roles, what changed in your understanding of what changed in your portrayal of these roles now that you are a mother yourself?
Well, now, like I said, for me, it's how not to.
Right.
How not to parent. Okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But it's fun to play with that. And I would not cross the line at abuse of any kind.
No.
Well, there's mental abuse, I guess, in these cases. But I just love, parenting is so hard and so complicated, and there are no lessons for it unless you're lucky enough to have good parents to watch yourself. And I don't know, it just kills me that you could be so off the mark. And, I'm so out of touch as Moira we're cooking in the scene that you heard. Mm-hmm. We're cooking. I'm claiming to know this recipe, and I just am so not maternal in the scene. But it's so much fun to play because we're just arguing like 2 teenagers. Neither of us are, but that's, just lowering herself to this level. And I do that sometimes. My younger son, he's 18 now. He's so smart and such a good arguer. Since he was a kid, I swear when he was 8 years old and I'm looking at him mad about him not doing homework, he said, "Good luck finding someone to take care of you when you're old."
Oh,
what?
That cuts like a knife.
I never even said I am expecting you to take care. Where'd you get this concept? He's just so smart. So there are times when I've argued with him. Boy, I'm revealing way too much. I'm making myself
it's okay.
sound like a terrible mother.
This is safe. This is safe.
It's a safe place on the radio.
You're in a safe place right now, Catherine.
No, but I'm arguing with radio. I find myself arguing with him like I am a teenager. I think, okay, I'm supposed to be the mother in this case.
Right.
It did not say that. I did not, that kind of thing. But Moira does that all the time, and it's really fun to play and hopefully get out of my system, so I stopped doing it with my
Maybe that's
18-year-old.
why we were discussing why people seem to love the show. And maybe, I read one time about Larry David, who does the Curb Your Enthusiasm, that he says, I'm not playing myself, I'm playing how I wish I could be. He is like that. He's really like that? He'll call you out? I let it hang. I let the silence hang.
No, he's a funny character. He gets himself.
But
the stories he tells in real life are so like his storylines in the show.
But he says
it's
that
really funny.
He wishes he could act like that in real life. If it was socially acceptable.
And say yes, right.
So
right.
maybe parents love watching Moira because it's what they wish they could say, and you're actually saying it.
I remember all that around Alec Baldwin. The recording of him yelling at his daughter.
Oh yeah.
And it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
But that kind of went the opposite of what you're saying, because all these parents are like, "Oh, that is the worst." I'm like, bullshit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like you haven't
He who
said bad
throws the
things.
first stone.
Yeah. You had like I said, you grew up in a very nurturing, a very big family.
I did.
Sixth,
Loving parents. I had good parents.
Sixth of 7 kids.
Yes.
Irish Catholic, no doubt.
Yes,
Of
yeah.
course.
What are you saying?
My father was 8. My father had 8.
8.
8 siblings.
Wow.
Yeah.
My dad's 1 of 9.
It's crazy, eh?
My mom's 1 of 3.
And my mother was the outlier. She was Irish Catholic, but she was 1 of 2.
1 of 2.
Yeah, late
Freaks.
in life.
Proddies. Bloody proddies.
No, Catholics.
They're proddies.
But maybe secret Protestants. I had no idea.
The man who lived next door to my mom and dad in Islington here was 1 of 23 from Newfoundland.
23?
Yeah, his mother had sets of twins and triplets. And
Yeah, I guess what you do then. Mom told me one time she was talking to a guy from Calvert, which is down in Newfoundland, and I think she had something like 20 youngsters. And she said, "How do you raise them?" She goes, "You don't. They raise each other."
yeah.
And was that the case
Yeah.
when you got a family of 7? Did you all look after one another?
Eventually, yeah. No, my mom was there all the time. My mom was a real mom, at home mom. She didn't really work until after my younger brother was in high school, I guess, and she went into real estate, a real cutthroat dog-eat-dog business, but loved it because she loved getting into people's homes
Right.
and seeing stuff.
She likes snooping around.
Getting deals on things. It was great.
Every now and then she'd come home with a
and
candlestick.
she was really good at it, but it was hard from raising, being holed up in a house with all these kids. I have 2, and, when I'm making like 3 dinners in a row, 3 nights in a row, it's like, I think of my mom and 7 kids and laundry, and oh my God, God bless her.
I mean, you're also
imagine.
very, very funny. I can only imagine around the O'Hara
Everyone's
dinner
funny.
table. Was it?
Yeah.
Were your parents making you laugh all the time?
Yeah, my dad was a great joke teller, and jokes from The Office that I used. A character in SCTV, I plays dirty comic Dusty Town, and all my jokes were from my dad's office that my dad told us. And my mom would tell stories of people she met that day, and she'd imitate them. So she's a real storyteller and a great impersonator. And my dad was jokes, and everybody at the table. When you have that many people around the table, same with the Flahertys, who Joe Flaherty worked with for years. They had a big family, I think 9 kids in their family. And it was the same thing. We talked about how you had to be really quick and get in there at the dinner table to get. I was with 4 of my siblings last night, and here in Toronto, and one of my sisters, who's 10 years older than me, said, "I never get a word in with you guys." I'm like, "You don't? Nobody listens to me."
Nothing has changed
I
over the
know,
years.
nothing. The dynamic's all the same.
But there is that moment, and someone once said to me, one of the bravest moments in a performer's career, especially in comedy, is when they decide to go from being a person who is funny, like a child member who's funny, to being a funny person, and that's what you're going to do then the pressure's on. It's no longer just making jokes at the dinner table, and now it's about doing it for a living. How did the family feel when you decided to make that leap?
No, well, you do make me think the most embarrassed I've been. Like if I think right now of them listening, it's like, okay, never mind.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's like that. I have no right to be in show business. If I just think of my sisters and brothers, although they're very lovely and supportive. And once I went to did the Letterman show. I was promoting a movie years ago, and Marcus and Mary Martin, Maureen, and Michael, saw them last night. They came with me to the Letterman show, and he was asking me a question at one point, and I just in the middle of the answer said, "I can't talk to you right now. My sisters and brothers are right there," which was great because he cut to them. They cut to them, but it's much scarier to have family in the audience than anybody. Strangers.
It really is.
Whatever, you don't know.
Well, yeah. You're. I mean, at the dinner table, you're always constantly auditioning for them, and then.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we all are for each other.
So when you told your folks, "Hey, I think I'm gonna do this for a living," how did they take it?
No, your dad can get you a job at a CPR.
Right.
That's where my dad worked for like 40-something years. No, get a job in the office. No, I'm not gonna act, please. I don't know. No, they were worried. But then, when I made it onto SCTV, when we did SCTV, that was just made my dad so happy, because he was a jokester, telling jokes at the office. And then I think the first time that someone talked to him at work about seeing me on TV, he was so great. He loved comedy, but I think it relaxed my parents. Like, oh, okay, if other people are seeing it and talking about that, I guess it actually exists. It's okay. It's a job.
I want to go back to those times because, I mean, for someone like me, it just seems like Camelot, those early Second City days. It really does. It really seems like this really incredible moment. There's a sense right now, especially you're seeing, thankfully, the narrative change from being this kind of horrible women aren't funny kind of thing to people finally
That
starting.
article went a lot further than it should have.
I agree. You know,
Don't even quote it.
and I think that we're at a place now where that's becoming off the table. That women are funny. Of course they are, and you're seeing the success of Amy Schumer and Broad City.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and
How's that changed since the early
Lucille
days?
Ball. How about her?
I know.
Yeah.
How
Lily Tomlin.
have always been funny. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not even going to have this conversation because there's no way of having this without kind of women can be funny, you know.
But did you feel like that when in those early kind of Second City days? Did you feel like you had to be? Did you feel what you were doing was kind of revolutionary in that way?
No, not revolutionary, but
what did you feel?
that was the 60s, 70s were when I was first hearing about women's liberation and it was rubbing a couple of the guys in my life the wrong way. Right. And I remember Joe Flaherty, like half jokingly, I think somebody in one of the Toronto papers wrote an article about women not being funny, and Joe kept putting it up on the bulletin board. And Andrea and I would take it down. They kept putting it up. I mean, he was making a joke of it. He's being funny, but still, it's like, okay, I don't think we. But and at Second City, I don't know what it's like now. It might be more. The numbers might be more equal, but I mean, for 40 years, it was always 2 girls, 3, 4 guys on stage in any cast. It'd be 2 women and 5. So, I was like, and then the 2 women come in. Could the 2 women come into that scene? It was like you're playing one person.
Yeah.
We'd share a character. But, those are the old days.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy it's not like that.
You're
then we're just talking North America. There's still the rest of the... Did you see Mustang, the movie?
No.
Oh, my God. Turkish movie about 5 beautiful sisters. And at the beginning, they get out of school and they go to the beach and they're all in school uniform, but they're playing in the water with some boys. And the rest of the movie is about locking them up in a house and hurry, get them married, marry them off to people they don't know because they're whores now. They've been marked toward. They have to go to the doctor and get checked because they had some. So I'm saying, sorry, it doesn't seem right to complain about whether or not I get to do the comedy I want when the rest of the world's not exactly working this way.
Sure, and I think it's important to have that kind of perspective, and those kind of global perspectives are important all the time. But you can't deny that a lot of young performers who I have spoken to, young women performers, especially improvisers, look to you as an example of someone who broke a lot of boundaries. And not to say that we're at this point where you need to do this career retrospective, this is your life kind of thing. Like we're not there yet.
No, that's lovely. Thanks. It's nice. It's really nice to have younger, actors, actresses. Even knowing me at all, it's nice.
Did you ever I guess you never would have thought when you and Andrea Martin were together working on that. Did you ever feel that what you were doing was kind of important like that?
Do you feel that way about your job right now?
No, but I'm very aware that my job isn't important.
I never thought mine was, or I still don't. It's all kind of nostalgic right now, I think. The SCTV and something about Eugene and I working together. People are talking to us as if we've always worked together like this as a team. And it's really funny. And we get in these conversations and then we'll be alone and go, were we ever a team? Like, it was just a gang on SCTV. And then I think because we played husband and wife a couple of times in the Chris Guest movies. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of, I don't know, people are sentimental and it's sweet.
And you guys
but I don't necessarily think of myself that way.
You guys are all still in touch? Most of the early SCTV
Yeah.
folks?
Marty I see all the time. Andrea I don't see as much because Andrea's usually in New York. She's always doing Broadway. Mm-hmm. But once in a while, I'll hear she's in town and we'll email. Eugene, of course.
Why do you think?
Dave Thomas you
still in touch with Dave Thomas?
Yeah. We got together actually because the 40th anniversary of SCTV is coming up.
Wow.
So we've been talking about doing
How does that feel? 40 years since the...
Nice to be alive.
Yeah. Why do you think those relationships you have with these people? I mean, a lot of people you work with and you never see them again.
You never want to see them
again. Even if you liked him, maybe you don't see him ever again. This is a rare moment that you guys still all get together. Because really, it wasn't like you were together for 20 years.
No.
It was a brief window. So why do you think you guys are all still pals? Why have those relationships endured?
Lovely Canadians have kept this thing alive. For us, I think it was something we did when we were younger, and weren't we lucky? And sometimes it's on TV, sometimes it shows up on DVD, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. But I don't know, lovely Canadians have kept it alive.
Can you tell when someone recognizes you, whether they're Canadian by whether they know you from SCTV or from Home Alone?
Yeah, I think Canadians are more, Canadians act more like they're your sister or brother. And also kind of like, I think you're pretty big, eh?
Oh, yeah, right.
Kind of like,
they're not impressed.
It's an Irish thing, too. We were going to working in Ireland once, and everybody in every store would like make fun of you. No. It's like, what? When did you become my big brother?
I was at a bar not too long ago. Surprise, surprise. And someone came up to me, and I had never met them before. And their opening line to say that they knew who I was, "So you're on the radio all the time, are you?" That was it. That was it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
A guy in the airport last night said, "Hey, we just watched you on Modern Family," and I went. You can't say thank you. He didn't say it was good. He just said, "I saw you." All right. So I wanted to say sorry.
Yeah, like,
I don't know.
As if he's going to have a criticism afterwards. I saw you on Modern Family. Not your best. To be honest, not your best.
People are being nicer now, though. It's a little less of that. That was actually kind of an old thing. Like, getting a little uppity, aren't you?
It's not easy.
You're on TV a bit too much now. Come on.
It's not easy to not be nice to Catherine O'Hara. I will say that.
Oh, there you go.
It's very cool to talk to you. I do want to add, and I'm not just saying that. I don't have that kind of charm. I have that weird Canadian bluntness.
No,
Remember I told
very
you about?
nice.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll get you to call my mother and tell her later. I have to ask, just in terms of Schitt's Creek, sure, you and Eugene worked a lot back then, and sure, you were in the Chris Guest movies with Mitch and Mickey, of course.
Yeah.
I guess, what does it mean to be working together now after 40 years of SCTV, and you're still working together and you're still making new art? I mean, there's people who would be on a beach lying down. You're still working.
Which I normally just, not working.
Yeah.
Is usually my choice.
Sure.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be still working together with the old gang even now?
It's pretty great at my age to have an opportunity to, first of all, do what we're doing with a lovely friend, Eugene. And he is a lovely man. And he's smart and he's calm and he's confident and he's funny and he's real collaborative and he's easy to be with and he's great at his job. He's a really smart writer and he's a great actor. And I love the beautiful suits he wears and the way he carries himself as Johnny Rose. It's great to watch. But also great at my age to be able to be goofy and have fun like this and play a ridiculous character. And I get to do really fun things in this season because we get a little more involved in the town. And I actually hang out with some women. And, it's never quite comfortable for my character. But really, it's, I should be so lucky to have that opportunity to still be doing that kind of, this kind of silliness.
Catherine O'Hara, the time has flown by. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. It's because I rattled on about nothing most of the time.
I believe I was the one rattling on about nothing.
No, you were good. You're a lovely young man.
You were great too. You're a lovely young woman.
I love you.
I love you too.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.